The whole YouTube versus TikTok boxing event has just concluded, and I would like to basically say my thoughts, my feelings, my reaction to everything. In particular, I want to start off with the first fight, just for the preliminaries, I guess they call them, or the free airtime portions. One thing I have to say, I wasn't crazy because I thought it was crazy when I was talking about what was it, the press conference, when I was like, didn't they say it was like 2 people related to Austin in there? Make sure I wasn't tripping. So yeah, I was right. His brother-in-law, then his actual brother. And I was like, okay, his brother-in-law did absolutely fantastic. I wouldn't give no real problems to him because he really didn't do too much wrong in the fight. He was distanced from his opponent, but he just didn't capitalize every time that he probably saw an opportunity to. He probably just waited a lot more than I kind of would have liked him to do. I would have liked him to have been just a tad bit more on the quickness. Oh, he threw a huge jab, or he threw this huge pan that went, I don't know where it came from, cranked that mother back. I think if he would have been just a little more active on Nell's part, then the fight would have been stopped even earlier. He would have won it earlier. Then we get to the second fight, the second Austin Broom family member to go at it. Oh boy, this fight right here was not even a fight. It made me wonder, why was he in the ring with him? Why is that? No, that's not how these things work. That's not how these things work, my guy. Like, not at all. He said he wasn't going to hit him one time. He hit him a few times, but at the end of the day, it was a one-sided beatdown. It was literally the worst fight you could have. It was literally the worst matchup you possibly could have put in front. And what's is a thing? The funny thing about these guys, I get everyone said Taylor was supposed to be the most experienced out of everybody. What's sad about it is that almost who did better? The Ace family walked in looking like professional fighters, and they fought like professional fighters compared to even what's the name? Because a professional fighter. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm gonna get on that in a second. So let's get to one of my favorite fights that didn't really. I expect fireworks. I expected some heavy hits go back and forth, but I didn't expect it like this. FaZe Jarvis. Oh boy. The first round scared me because it looks like it could go either way. And that was one of the fights that I felt like that's where it was going to go, because I didn't think the other guy was going to be too good. But then actually looking at them fighting, I was like, this fight can go either way. This is an either way fight. Because it seemed like Jarvis wasn't really fully in it to be able to, dodge more accordingly and keep distance and keep it like a slow-paced fight. He kept it as a faster-paced fight, which benefited him better, and he won the fight by a knockout. Dope on your end. Then we got DDG versus Nate Wyatt. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to no one. I was a little scared at this fight at first because I knew DDG knew how to box. We all heard the line that he knew how to box and everything. He was supposed to fight this guy, and that didn't happen. All that yada yada yada. But Nate Wyatt low-key kind of scared me a little bit, because I thought this man was going to come in with the physique. I thought he was going to come in with the power, with the speed, the accuracy. I thought he was going to come in with all these different aspects, because you have to think about it. Some of these people only been fighting or been even training for only 3 months, but they looked good for someone who's only been training for 3 months. Yes, I get it. They weren't going against the most high level of fighters, but that's something to say. Only 3 months of training, and you look this good. So, this fight in particular, I was kind of scared when the whole walkout happened and everything. But DDG walked away with the victory on that. A clean victory on that. He walked him down throughout the whole fight, and that's how he wound up winning. Then we get to the pressing fight. Very sad to see. Vinny Hacker versus Deji. This was a little scary to look at, because I didn't really see Vinny as a threat, but I saw Vinny as the speed guy. I saw how the fight was kind of going to go, when looking at both of them. I felt like Vinny was going to walk in with the speed and probably more of a defensive stance, and Deji was going to come in with big boy power, and that's what it was. But I don't know what is up. Maybe it wasn't because he was fully ready to fight at that weight that it made him gas out even quicker than against Jake. But that was the only loss on YouTube side and the only win on TikTok side, which everyone thought the only win that was going to win, that TikTok was going to have, was Taylor Holder. Which, speaking of Taylor Holder, let's get to that one very quickly. Taylor fights like a professional boxer. He does, but his problem was not turning up like he should have. He didn't turn up. He stayed in basically a blocking position, and he got his body ripped apart. And somehow, some way, and then what gets me is I thought, because watching Gib go in, I was like, Gib, you need to keep distance. Then charging in particular moments, let him throw. But no, Gib turned up like he should have done for Jake. And because he turned up like he should have done for Jake, he actually, in my mind, and I think everybody else's, he won the fight. But somehow, some way, the guy who doesn't fight back doesn't win the fight, but it becomes a draw. So these guys went all 5 rounds, and everyone said, you know what? This looks like a draw to me. No, you probably thought he trained with Canelo Alvarez. You know, Canelo hasn't lost a fight. Even last time he lost a fight was against Floyd Mayweather all those years ago. I don't think we should let him lose even this. That's what I was thinking going into this. Because, no, this is a Gib win by far. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care what the score says. I don't care what the judges say. Gib won that fight. Moving on to the main event. The main event. The main event. The main event was Austin McBroom versus Bryce Hall. Everyone said Austin was basically gonna win. Austin was gonna win this fight. There was no shadow of a doubt in no one's mind that Austin was gonna lose, because they always thought Bryce was just going to charge him. Bryce did good for a little bit. Don't get me wrong. Bryce wasn't a slouch in the ring at all. It was just that you can tell after a little bit of the fight, it felt, I don't know what it was, but you could tell that, I don't know, it's like looking at I have to look at every fight, and this is where I kind of looked at them, based each fight off of each other. I look back at the Gib fight, and I'm like, Taylor looked calm, ready, but he just didn't unload like he should have to get the victory. Bryce, on the other hand, unloaded and everything, but he wasn't calm enough to make Austin come at him where he could catch Austin every time. He wasn't in a calmer state, and that's where it's kind of like, okay. So then we get to the loss that obviously happened. It was really bad to see because of, don't get me wrong, I'm the type of person, don't get me wrong, I wasn't team TikTok, I was team YouTube, but the only thing that I will always say, I love me a good fight. I love a back and forth. A back and forth is always the scariest thing to watch, especially when you're rooting for one person between that back and forth. This right here, this back and forth, was basically non-existent. It was like a little clip, maybe, on Bryce's side to make him come close to this. It's sad to say, but that's how it went down. That's exactly how it went down. Bryce did everything I don't even know if he did everything he could, but Bryce got some points deducted from him, and that was pretty much it. Other than that, that was the entire card. It was a nice little card. It was a very good fight. I liked Team YouTube. They won by a large margin. I had a feeling that Deji wasn't ready. The only reason was because of the weight. I believe that wasn't his problem the first time, but I believe this was a problem this time. The weight, him trying to keep up with him trying to be in a different way was not what he needed. He probably should have been at least kind of sort of in the same weight class originally. But that's fine on Deji's end. He can walk it off. He can go rest. I don't think he should fight anymore, even though he probably will fight again. I would say that if he does fight, he gets ready to fight in his in particular weight class, or maybe a different issue. We will hear and see whatever he has to say. Then we get back to Jarvis. Jarvis, god dang Jarvis, they making memes already. Taking out, what is it, 200 health out of that man. One hit, god dang. God dang, Jarvis hurt that boy bad. I don't know. Jarvis basically beat up a blind kid. I'm sorry. He wore glasses. Sorry. I had to make the joke. I wear glasses too. That's not funny. But no. Then we get to this, it was so controversial. You can't tell me that it's not right. Nissan Gibb pressures. He continuous pressures Taylor Holder, and Taylor didn't fold in the pressure. Taylor caught Gibb a few times, yes, and Gibb has Taylor one good time that it showed that Taylor was really hurt. But other than that, that's only to the head. But if you're talking about body shots, Gibb wins it by a landslide. But for some reason, they gave it as a majority draw, which means Gibb's immediately ready to run it back. We knew Gibb was going to probably want to run it back anyway. I'm glad there was no headgear. Really glad there was no headgear. But that's the end of it all. Everything has happened. Everything's been said. Everybody's about to party and post it on everything. And we'll see what the future holds when it comes to any of this. It may be over, maybe start up a whole nother thing. Of course it is. Yeah, I mean, other than that, this was actually a really great event. It was not really bad at all. It didn't stink like a Triller event did, but it did what it was supposed to do, and I'm actually really proud and cool to look at. Jake Paul's going against Tyron Woodley. Can't wait to see that fight. And Logan somehow not really beat, but he survived against an old, withered Floyd Mayweather. So that's dope on him. Floyd don't want to fight no more, clearly. Thank God. But besides that, let's see, what else? That's pretty much it. That was the TikTok versus YouTube thing. YouTube with pretty much, it was going to walk away with the victory by the time we got to the main event. Matter of fact, by the time we even got to the Deji fight, TikTok was behind. They would have to win. The only way that TikTok could have won is if they would have beaten. If Deji would have lost, Gibb would have lost, then Austin would have lost. But then on top of that, yeah, that'd be the only way. No, it would have been just even. They would. It was still bad. Either way it go. They weren't ready for who they were up against because they took their training just a little bit more different. They actually came out of it very differently. And that's where it kind of showed, is that a lot of the YouTubers came out very differently from each other, and they showed a difference and not a kind of basic amateur skill. Some of them kind of look like pros in there, and that's kind of something to say. I'm not saying professionals like, it seemed like more of a day one professional, like you can tell, like he just hopped off being an amateur like 2 days ago or something. He just did some stuff like that. That's what it seemed like. But other than that, that was it. It was a great event. Can't wait if they do a part 2. Hey, if I'm able to do it, I'll hop on if I could. But no, other than that, that was pretty dope. Besides that, yeah. That's just my reaction and my thoughts on the whole thing. Bread.